Really? I didn't say the
You
morning.
gonna say good morning?
Say the
Good morning.
This the morning. It's not good morning. It's the morning.
The
morning.
the morning.
The morning.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing this morning?
It's the morning.
How are you guys doing the morning?
Your baby talk is bad.
My baby talk is bad.
The morning.
This is the lovely, my fiance, the beautiful, the extravagant, the amazing Apostle Jameliah Young. And we're coming to you this morning with a coupling series.
All right, y'all asked for it, and here we go.
But before we get started, I'm Pastor Fred, God's man on deck. Listen, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, I will be getting with the men. I'll be getting with the men. So listen, tell your husbands, tell your brothers, tell your nephews. We're going to have, listen, this first one is going to be very, very important. It's going to be important. It's going to really be important, especially, and I'm not, it's definitely going to be for the black brothers, the brown brothers. Listen, y'all need to tune in 7 o'clock Thursday for Man to Man with Apostle Fred Gooden, Pastor Fred, God's man on deck. Okay?
Yeah, it's definitely needed because, we deal with women. I deal with women all the time, all over the world. And women are like, my son needs something. My husband needs something. He's counseling a lot of husbands that want to be better husbands. And so if you want your husband to be better, I'm going to say something. It's going to hurt your feelings, but it's going to help. He doesn't hear you anymore. Your voice has become muted as a wife. It shouldn't be that way. But unfortunately, this is what happens when men, they don't want the consequences of having a conversation about something that they may not be happy about within the relationship or the marriage.
You're right.
So they need a voice. They need someone that can glean things off of, someone that they don't know them personally, but they can hear both perspectives, be bipartisan, and say, look, this is what you're doing, man. You may not like it, but hear it from a man. I'm a man. This is what he always says. And so I admonish you to tell them, get with God's man on deck on Thursdays at 7 o'clock because it is necessary.
We're really excited about it. I'm excited about it. There's a lot of content that the Holy Spirit is dealing with me about. Yeah. So you don't want to miss it. Of course, it'll be available. I'm asking you guys, as soon as I start doing it, if you would do a watch party for me.
Yeah.
If coupling has been a blessing to you, if some of my videos have been a blessing to you, please do a watch party for us, okay? You ready this morning, baby?
We pray because this is a hard one. We have gotten so many people that have inquiries about what they want us to touch base on. And so this is a hard one. When we were having one a couple of weeks ago, someone asked us to touch upon porn, and we are doing that. We're going to talk about that. However, we've got to pray about how to go into that specific area and vein.
Yes.
But this one is a hard one.
Yes. Today we're going to be talking about programmed to stay.
That is hard. Now remember, I'm a pastor. He is a pastor. He pastors quite a few churches. I pastor one. Together, we're pastoring these churches.
Yes.
So we deal with people all over the world. Between us, we have a lot of experience, knowledge, and wisdom. This is hard. It's so hard until my heart is cringing, getting ready to converse about it. Am I programmed to stay? Whoo! You go first.
I'm just going to say, I'm going to let you get started. I'm going to let you say it first.
Okay. Understand that in relationships or in marriage, something happens where people, they just exist. They exist because they stay for various reasons. The number one reason some people stay in a dead marriage, a loveless marriage, a marriage that's not thriving, a marriage that's not flourishing, is simply, someone said, whoo, Lord, Samantha Smith said, it simply is, they say, the children.
That's number one.
That's the number one reason. They say they stay for the children. The question is, do you stay for the children? And the next thing that they stay for is finances.
Yes.
That they're not financially stable enough to make it on their own. So the second reason is because of financial hardship, they stay. So please understand, I've got to ask you a question.
One more though, baby.
One more?
The third one would be, especially for a lot of Christian couples, men of God and women of God, they stay in it because of their own righteousness, reputation.
Wow.
Especially with leaders, righteousness and reputation.
Right.
Because they feel like it's the right thing to do, so they stay in the situation just because they feel it's the right thing to do, and in their mind they're being faithful to it, but at the same time existing and dying.
Okay, so the question is, with all of that being said, do you stay miserable, uncultivated? Do you die miserable for the sake of marriage? That's a hard one. Now, we know what the vows say because we have married and we marry people. For better or for worse, through sickness and in health, to death do you part. But suppose you're living in death. Suppose you're dying. The question is, do you stay miserable and married? Because in your mind, the children program you to stay, righteousness program you to stay.
That's right.
And finances program you to stay. So what programmed you to stay? That's the question. What has programmed you to stay? And do you do that?
Excuse me. Go ahead.
Now, someone said no. Now, why he takes this phone call, because we're doing a whole lot of things. We got a whole big day going on. I'm saying no. I do not believe that God wants you to be so miserable, especially if there's domestic violence. I don't believe that God wants you to be so unhappy for righteousness' sake. Now, if you suffer for righteousness' sake, I get that. That's saying your call. You're going to have some hiccups. You're going to have some down days. You're going to have some happy days. But in marriage, will you die for yourself? Now, watch this. Dying of yourself simply means if you're a player and you get married, and now what has happened is you have to die so you both can become one flesh, because nobody wants to be with a habitual cheater. Are you a frivolous spender? Do you just put everybody into debt because you have got a spending problem? You got to have red bottoms. You got to have the latest car. What do you do in finance? No, it's for the greater good of the other person. Do you allow your children to see you fight, be miserable, unhappy? I always say that children will be better off in a one-parent home where there is peace, happy, and healthy than you teaching them how to have an unhealthy relationship in marriage. So no, this is what I'm saying. I am saying that every couple should be in a reassessment or reevaluate where they are so that you can see where the marriages is going. Now, I'm going to say this. This going to hurt. And Fred's coming back. We dealt with a couple. And I'm dealing with a couple right now in New Jersey. God bless you, Dr. Joyce. She stays in one bedroom. He stays in another. I grew up in a household where my parents were married for 37 years. 22 of those years, my father had a mistress, but my mother stayed. He stayed in the living room, and she stayed in her bedroom. It was not normal for us to see our parents sleeping in the bed together. And so when you grow up with this in your mind, how do you have a healthy relationship when someone that you're supposed to be in oneness with decides we staying in two separate bedrooms? It's not. Thank you. I'm going to go on that, First Lady Bridget. It's not healthy. It's not normal, nor is it right. Because what you do is you allow another individual to either come inside your marriage and you can't mesh as one flesh because you've got someone or something in between. Now, I'm going to come back. So y'all going to have to give us a second because we didn't expect for our company to come and people to come. And we got a lot of things that we do, and we're going to reveal it all to y'all, what we're doing and how we deal with things and everything. But you got to give us a moment. So I think, are we okay?
Yes.
Okay. So he's coming back because I always want you to hear the male's perspective of it and not just my side. This is what we do in live, and this is what it is. We're nesting. So understand, First Lady Bridget said the reason why some leaders stay, they stay because of the church. Are you staying in the marriage for the sake of the ministry or for the church? Then you're not being true to the church, because your church sees you as a happy, healthy couple, and you're teaching them how to be a happy, happy couple based on your lie. Ooh, you just walked in.
I missed it, baby.
Man. So we were saying about the three things that people also stay. They stay for marriage, they stay for the money, and even First Lady Bridget said you stay for the sake of the church.
Yes.
I'm saying it
Oh,
is not
that's good.
right. It's not God's will for us to be so miserably happy till death do us part. Does that mean do we die in an unhealthy marriage because of righteousness?
I think we have to now we have to redefine what does death do. First, we gotta define whether God put us together. He says, whatsoever I've put together, let no man put asunder.
Right.
And a lot of times we come together because of circumstances, especially when you're talking about children, you're talking about lifestyle. You have two people that are accustomed to a lifestyle, and they saw a lifestyle that they wanted to be a part of. So they got with that person because of that lifestyle.
Right.
And they stayed in it because of what they were accustomed to more than love. And what they found out is they stayed with this person, but this life that they're in, they have this huge home, they have everything that they need, but they are hopelessly unhappy. So this is the thing. No, you shouldn't stay in it. And this is the reason why we're dealing with being programmed, because you're getting your fleshly needs, but spiritually and mentally and at some point physically you'll start dying because you've lost hope.
Now,
so you don't stay for say that again.
Who does the programming? So when you program to stay, who programs you to stay?
I think we program ourselves.
Okay, explain that.
I think if it's definitely because I'm going to deal with it from a man of God's point of view, especially a leader. You don't want to look bad.
Okay.
You don't want to be judged.
Okay.
You don't want to lose your reputation. You don't want to lose, especially if you built something, because this subject really deals with a lot of people that have built something great and they look great on camera. Like they look great
flawless.
on camera. They look flawless on camera. They look like the awesome couple. And people follow them and gravitate towards them because of what it looks like on camera.
Right.
But in the midst of the home and in the midst of the life, they are miserable. So a lot of times people, and this is another thing for a lot of churches and businesses, because not just churches, but businesses, it's also a financial thing. People will follow that which looks like it's prospering. So they'll follow this. So no, we ain't getting no divorce. No, we gonna just work it out. And then what they do is they start other relationships. Some people do. And then some people just stay in it miserably.
So the finances is what program people, because financially, I actually read in New York Today a magazine where they say couples have decided that they want a divorce, but they stay as roommates because financially they can't stay on their own. Even this whole COVID-19 pandemic, we may as well just stay in it for the sake of staying in it because somebody lost their job. The mortgages, the children. I don't want to hurt the children.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt the children.
That's
The
a good
children are
place.
already hurting.
That's a good place. That's a good place.
The children are already hurting. Most couples that are out here trying to have a quote-unquote healthy relationship was hurt because two people couldn't get it together. Someone said just because two people love each other doesn't mean that they have to be together.
And the children manifest these bad habits. Whether you're thinking, oh, the children don't know, or you're thinking that because the children are daily, they're coming home, y'all having that time together. The children can tell that mommy and daddy are not together and that they're miserable. They can tell if nobody knows, the children knows. And some of and this is the one thing. Don't try to stay for the children and you making them more miserable and more unhappy than anything.
I said that in my book. Your children have to pay the price because you're in love. Your children pay a heavy price because you're in love. Don't let them pay that price. That's not right. Because what you're doing is you're programming them how to perceive relationships. And that's not right. It's not right. Another thing that programs you to stay is, and I'm going to say this is going to hurt. Some women they know that their husbands are happy, and they'll say, if we get divorced, you'll never see your kids again.
Yeah, that's a powerful one.
That's a powerful one, but it's true.
And that is actual.
Yeah,
I deal with a lot of men.
Yeah.
That have been to me with tears.
Tears.
I mean, in tears.
Yeah.
She won't let me see my children.
Right. And so you could actually program someone to stay. That means that even your words, how you make them feel, no one else is going to want you. You know, no one's going to love you like I love.
Somebody said that last night on up under one of our pictures. I don't know who it was, but one of the replies was that the husband or the divorce, they got divorced, told her that another man would never love her or her children again.
Wow. I was told that.
That's a lie from the pits of hell.
Joke's on you, Jack. I was told that too. So Whitney said sex. Are you saying that sex is one of the reasons why you're programmed?
I think that could be one.
Okay.
I think that could be one.
Explain that.
I think that a person can be so sexually connected that they go for anything.
Okay.
And so he or she is out doing whatever they want to do, gallivanting, whatever, and sex seems to always be the thing that brings them back to a place of commonality or agreement. And then for a year's gone by, 2 years has gone by, and either the man or the woman is miserable, but sex kind of keeps the union there, but you don't have anything else but sex. And now this is something I witnessed as a person that does premarital counseling. I've witnessed people, they had a good sex life, but they were terrible together.
For each other.
Terrible.
Horrible.
They argument after argument after argument, fight after fight after fight. So I don't know who said that. Was that Whitney that said?
Whitney said that.
Listen, sex should not be the reason that you stay with a person, because that's a type of enslavement.
It is. It's a soul tie. It's a soul tie. So I think let's get the understanding. The understanding is don't stay for any other reason except for what God mandated the union to be. To love, protect, and serve one another. And most people are in it for the wrong reasons. What about this one? Time.
Yeah, tenure.
Yeah, tenure. You've invested time in them, and it ain't nothing else but time. Y'all have just become used to each other, and you're just too lazy to work at a healthy relationship, work at marriage. Y'all just
It's
said,
scary.
This is what it is.
It's scary. Let me tell you, it's scary. The scariest thing about meeting this beautiful woman is like, I gotta get to know another person. That can be scary. It can be scary for her.
Yeah.
I gotta get to know this man. Is he this? Is he that? Is this gonna turn around? When is the shoe gonna drop? That's scary. But I want to tell you, when don't let your life be. Don't put investment in tenure, because when we start looking at tenure and time, then we forget who God is.
That's right.
We forget that God is the God of time.
So they just get used to just having the other person in another room.
Yes.
You get used to just, oh my gosh, there was the movie, and I know you hate, you and Tyler Perry are not friends.
He's a man hater. He's a man hater.
It was something. You just can't watch Acrimony. That's just not your movie.
He hates men.
Fred, can I just say something, please?
Please say it.
Okay.
You said Tyler Perry. I didn't tell you to say it.
Well, do you know how you are when I start saying things about certain movies? You just feel like, ah. However, understand, there was this movie that Tyler Perry, Good Deed, and it was Gabrielle Union, and it was Tyler Perry. Remember that?
Decent. That was a decent movie.
That one.
That was all right.
And so she said, he's going to wear the green tie. And she said, what about the green tie? And then she says, did Gladys come today? Did Gladys come today? And before he could finish a sentence, she knew him like the back of her hand. And it was just so programmed until they just said they can't do this, because they were programmed so much to each other, not in coupling and tethering. It was just existing. And when you have time with someone and you just exist, there's no spontaneity. You don't want to explore each other. If you take time to basically take inventory of where you are. When you take inventory, it simply means that you've got to discover who this new person is and come out of a comfortable space to glean to who they've become because they discovered themselves. We discover ourselves every day.
Yes.
You're supposed to do self-discovery every day. In a relationship, you've got to be willing to self-discover with your partner. That means that if you decide that, okay, I can't eat butter pecan ice cream today, I think I like pistachio, instead of being programmed that butter pecan is what they are, you gotta get to know them and want to understand that they're like another type of ice cream.
I think sometimes
They don't want to do that. They become so comfortable and complacent until there's no room to change and grow with them.
I think rediscovering it can be trying. But I want to say this again because I need you to catch this. Going into something new, or because somebody's listening to us right now and you're in it.
Right.
Like you're in this miserable existence.
Right. Someone just said, I don't want to exist. I would rather be alone. Alone and married.
Listen. You have to have faith that God can do it again.
Right.
That he can bring you into company with somebody that you can be in love with again. But you have to have that faith. But listen, I know that this subject we knew this subject was hard.
Yeah, it's hard. But Fred, again, because we marry people, for better or for worse. For better or for worse. When it gets worse, how much worse does it have to get for you to get help or walk away? Sickness and health. Now, this is something I always say in counseling. If you knew that your spouse was sick, would you kill yourself getting the antidote that could save their life? That's the question. If he hesitates or she goes, I already know the answer.
Yeah.
But if immediately you go, yep, I sure would, that means you're willing to do whatever it takes for both of you to smile. And most people are not willing to do that. You're not willing to do what you have to do to make sure the other person is nurtured. What's up, Crystal Coffee? Just like you are. It's not just about you. This ain't about me.
No.
This ain't about
both
me.
people.
This is about Fred. And
both.
Fred will say, it's about Jamel. It's about both of
Yes.
us. And it means that God himself is saying, I died on a cross, not for me. I did it for y'all because I love y'all. Don't tell me that there is love and there is no sacrifice. That's the Achilles heel.
That's the thing.
There's so many people that you don't understand what real love is because you wouldn't sacrifice a hair on your head for them.
We have to look at the vows again. When we say for better or for worse, sickness and health, for better or worse, when we look at those vows, the vows are active as long as the covenant is active.
This young lady said, I need an answer. How much do you take before you walk away? You have to ask yourself a hard question. Where are you right now? This is what I always say. Have you exhausted all your possibilities? That means, what did you do to dissolve where you guys were in a healthy state? And what are you doing now to fix it together? If they're not trying, then you have nothing to work with because they're not willing to work with you. It is a joint effort. And if my spiritual parents are on here, they've been together for 30-something years. I have people who I'm surrounded with that have more than 37 years of marriage. One couple 37, one couple 33, one couple 56. I'm surrounded by healthy marriage, and I'm doggone that I'm finally going to have one because someone's willing to work at it. You've got to ask yourself, are you willing to sacrifice? That's the bottom line. So
how much are you willing to sacrifice?
Are you being beaten?
That I was going to go there.
Are you being beaten?
If there's any type of violence, abuse, even verbal.
Yeah.
Because I'm a father.
It's only something
I got
that
daughters.
you can take. Yeah.
I got daughters.
Yeah.
If I knew a man was cursing my daughters out, calling them out their names, I would tell her that was a situation that she had to get out of.
Right.
I would tell her that was something that she has to get out of, because verbal, you don't let a man sit up there and call you B's and call you H's. No, baby, that's a broken covenant.
And I'm going to say something, and I know that this is a tough subject, but I got to say it. It is very difficult for you to have a relationship when you're tearing each other down with your mouths. You ladies, you can't get nowhere. If you have a husband and you're tearing that man down. Now, I know both of you get into arguments and you say stuff and he says stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying you have become mean, that you have been to each other. Now, you get into an argument and both you say stuff. Now, that's understandable. You both shooting the shot. Please don't hit below the belt because sometimes it gets there. But I'm talking about if you tearing that man down and you tearing that woman down, I'm going to say this because Fred will be here. He went to go deal with some stuff because I'm telling you, we do this whole wedding thing is driving us crazy. We're going to share it all with y'all. Just hold on. You can't tear a man down and expect for him to really love you. You can't do it. You can't tell him where to go, how to get there, how quickly he can go, tear him down, and turn around and expect for him to be all the man that you need him to be. You can't talk about his man parts. You can't call him stupid. You cannot do it and expect for him to love you. Vice versa, brothers. You can't tear a woman down and then turn around and expect for her to do everything that you need her to do. Someone said, say it. It's just not going to work. So how much can you take? Your enough may not be my enough.
I think we was talking the other night about arguments, and this is the thing because some of you are ready to walk away, but you really have not exhausted everything.
Yeah,
you guys really don't even know how to argue. Like,
it's a way to do it.
It's a way to argue. First of all, if you guys are together and there has to be a winner, then y'all on y'all way out. There nobody can win an argument.
And winning and whoever is the winner, who's ever trying to say, I told you I was right. Whoever is the winner, they're the ones that keep it going. Because it means that you have to prove a point and you have to apply pressure until that other person break. Watch this. Did you know what the word of God said? It says, keep no record of each other's wrong.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
Why not, though, baby?
Why would I?
Why would it?
Because if I forgive you, then I forgive you. And most people, the reason why they're programmed to stay is some people are sick and they say, I'm going to stay just to prove a point that I'm right. I'm going to stay to see you fall. I'm going to stay to make sure that you won't be the man that I know inside my mind, not in my heart, that you are. It means that people keep record of wrong because they ain't ready to forgive because I keep you under my thumb.
And listen.
I keep you under my feet.
So, and now on that part, the person keeps you in control. But let me show you what heaven says. Bible says that a husband's prayers is hindered because of the wife.
That's right.
But it doesn't just because it says that it goes both ways. When we keep one another in unforgiveness, we stop one another from prospering.
That's right.
God cannot do anything.
That's right.
When I have her up under some heaviness.
That's right.
When you have him up under some heaviness because you're not forgiving what they're saying.
And why is it Thank you.
Okay.
Why do you have to be right in an argument? Tell them what you said the other day.
And
no, I bet.
No, baby.
No, when you said I'm never gonna win an argument.
This is now, men, hold your seat. This is the thing.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna win an argument with the one that is stronger in the marriage. So this goes now. Now, as for me, now Jamila is a strong woman. Now I'm a strong man, but I'm also a man I know how to submit myself in moments and times so that I can stay in control. Listen to this. So I won't try to win an argument. I'll wait till she comes down and then we'll talk. Because I'm not going to win. If I try to escalate and she goes to escalate and both of us now we're hollering to the top of our lungs and I'm not finna win. I'm not fixing to win. So I'm not fixing to try to win an argument where I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to stay quiet. And not because I'm trying to control it in my way. I'm going to wait till she comes down and then we're going to talk about it. Some of you are trying to win an argument with a person that you're not fixing to win with. Some men are not going to stop. Like, they're not going to stop. So you might as well just Keep it right there and let them come on down. And after they come down, you got to talk. In order to have a good marriage, you have to know how to argue. You have to know how to argue. When you don't know how to argue, you cannot win.
One of the things too. Oh, Sharonda just
That's
called
right.
you. One of the things that you have to understand is that you can program each other even in fear.
Oh man, that's a good one.
You can control each other in fear. Fear will prevent you from having anything in life. In a marriage, if you're afraid of your wife,
and that happens.
It's a lot of men.
It's a lot of men that are abused
of their wife.
You don't know this,
and I'm gonna tell you that's why I'm gonna give you a plug, but I'm gonna give you a healthy plug. Watch that series that he's doing on Thursday. He's gonna talk about men who are abused, and you don't want to say nothing to your brothers because you look weak. Yeah. Women, you better keep your hands off these men,
especially in this time right now.
Now, hold on, wait a minute. Now, I'm gonna throw myself under the bus. I got locked up, and I ain't gonna front. I got locked up. I did it. I took a club to a brother's arm, and I went to Delaney Hall. I did my time. I got my PTI, and I served because I had an anger issue, and I could not deal with someone who was trying to control me. And so, when I was younger, I was in my 20s. I was about it. And so, no, you ain't gonna talk, because I told you, I grew up in domestic violence. You can't handle it the same way. You ain't gonna do that. You gonna lift your hand? Okay, I'm gonna make sure you never lift it again. And so I did what I did. So I'm saying, but now I dare not lift my hand for nothing but to hug this man. I dare not lift my hand in nothing but to fix his food, or if he ever gets sick. Understand, there's some men that are abused and they don't want to say nothing. They're afraid of their wives. We always talk about women, in domestic violence. Men are in domestic violence too. And sometimes there's some men, because he won't hit her, he's afraid.
Because
so he just
won't hit her. Not because he can't.
He won't.
He won't. And some of you have men that are in situations that they at a point right now where they're thinking, one more time and I'm gone.
Yeah.
One more, and some of this is because you came out of something that was abusive.
Right.
You thought you seen your mother abused, and they get back together, and and so on and so forth. And we see this abusive, and we equate it to love, and these are the type of things that we have to deal with. And you got a brother, or you got a wife, and that's not love. So the thing I'm gonna tell anybody, especially in this time with women, I'm gonna be talking to the brothers, is this is a very sensitive time in our history.
Yeah, it is.
Men right now have a great tension level because of what the world is bringing, and they definitely don't need to get home and have to deal with somebody that's abusing them abusing them with their mouths. Don't tear down the person.
Yeah, and it's just so much.
Hold up, baby, I gotta say this.
Oh, breathe. I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
So you have to watch how you tear down a person, because when a man feels like he is not appreciated, soon you'll lose them. Yeah. Sometimes they'll stay for months. Sometimes, but if a man hears nothing but how bad he is, how unthoughtful, sometimes that's abuse. After some point, you'll lose them. And because they're programmed to stay, they'll exist with you, but they won't love you.
And you won't have nothing but a shell. You won't have nothing but a shell. He is left a long time ago.
Don't even know it. He
doesn't
know he left the
and
baby.
He's so disconnected.
He doesn't know it.
And you think that I got a man, I got a husband. No, you got a shell. He ain't doing nothing for you. He's just a shell, and vice versa. A woman will stay longer than a man would. Yeah. She'll stay longer than a man would. She'll stay and she'll try for the sake of the children, for the sake of the marriage. Some say, oh my gosh, you talking woman of God. She will stay for so many reasons, because we are fixers. Yeah. Women are fixers. We'll try to fix it. Women will try to mask it. We'll try to tape it. We'll try to glue it. But you'll be gluing it and fixing it by yourself. He gone. Because he's been programmed to stay. He's been programmed to just, and this is how you have infidelities creep in on both parts. This is how you have violence. This is how you bring in all kind of things, because you have founded something false on false pretense, and y'all are just existing because y'all programmed. Y'all not married, you're programmed.
That's right.
Nobody wants to be programmed today. You can't even hold that together too long. Eventually, what you program will break.
I want, and we'll say this to people that you're in premarital counseling right now. You getting ready to, because I seen somebody say it. He was talking about their fiance. If you have a fiance, these are things you guys need to talk about.
Yeah.
You better talk about
Those
these
hard
things
talks.
now.
Tag somebody now.
Because we're already, as we're on our journey, we're on our journey to being married. We're already talking about assessments. We was talking about 6-month assessments.
Yeah, 6 months. Every 6 months assessment.
6-month assessments.
Yeah.
Talking, counseling.
Right.
Why?
Right.
First, we don't want to fail. Secondly, we don't want to exist.
Right.
This is the thing. I want to say to you women, I want to say to you men that are in a relationship that right now you feel like your program is really not there. You deserve to be happy.
Right, right. Pastor Travis said emotionally disconnected.
Emotionally disconnected. You deserve to be happy.
That's right.
I'm going to say it again.
That's right.
I'm going to say it again.
Please do.
Because now you got your children, you got your mother that wants you to stay in this, your father that wants you to stay in this because they're looking at your financials, they're looking at all of this. You deserve to be happy. And a lot of people are standing in things because they've forgotten that I deserve to be happy. You feel like you being happy is selfish. So I'm gonna stay in this because I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to break things up. But I'm gonna tell you what 20 or 30 years look like down the line for the other person and for you. It's gonna be terrible.
And did you know your happiness spills off on the other person?
It still does. It really does.
It's supposed to. Wives, you're a reflection of your husband. Husband, you're a reflection of your wife. Do you know when I go and I counsel people and I talk to people, like if the wife come to me, I'll be staring at the husband. If the husband come to me, I'll be staring at the wife because you're a reflection of each other. If you see a woman and she look bad, you got to look at what has been imparted in her.
Yeah.
And if you look at a husband and he don't give a dang no more, he done let himself go, he just look bad. I'm looking at the wife. It's just like the story of the utensils and the fingers. On your fingers in the marriage are utensils. In the middle of the marriage is the food. You cannot get the food because your utensils cannot reach it to bring the forks and spoons to yourself. It is for both of you with your utensils to reach over, grab the food, and feed each other.
That's right.
That's how you nurture each other in anything that you do. But if you find a marriage and you're angry, you're crazy, you're malnourished, you're violent, you stop feeding each other and you're trying to feed yourself and you're frustrated because it wasn't designed like that. It was not designed. Someone said, how do you advise someone who's afraid to lose their husband and let them go after all this time? If you are unhappy, I'm going to say this, you're going to make him unhappy. If he is unhappy,
he's probably already gone.
He's going to make me unhappy. It works best when you are happy with yourself first. It says, for better or for worse, through sickness and in health, to death do you part. You're going to die before you can even part because you're killing each other with unkindness.
So, baby, if the word is first spiritual, then death comes first by spirit, right?
Yeah.
So something can already be dead.
Yeah.
Death can already part at you guys, and you just have not accepted it.
Right.
And again, we're talking about the death of the covenant.
Yeah.
Once the covenant is broken, because somebody also asked, they said, well, what do you do when a man refuses to communicate? When a man refuses to communicate, it's probably because he's worn down to the point that he don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, he's shut down.
Or he just may be the one that you might need to get away from. Right. You have to, we can't assess that from here, but you have to assess where it is. But if you've been the one beating and saying you ain't communicating, at some point and during the time, he said, well, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what it is. But you have not accepted that's it. Then 9 times out of 10, he's shut down. And men don't listen when they're being beaten. Oh, man. Because women, I understand that repetition is the mother of learning. We get that. But when your voice is now mute, it's moot. He's not hearing you. When you like, I told you that, and you beating him and you beating him and you beating him, he's just going to shut down like, Yeah. Yeah.
Or he'll just do it just to piss you off. I do it when I get ready. You know, it's a lack of communication because somebody stopped connecting emotionally. And this is where counseling. I am a pastor, we're pastors, and we telling y'all better get help. If anything is worth saving, then do what you have to do to bring it back to life.
Don't
and
stay.
You've got to get counseling. Don't
Yeah.
if you so miserable till you cry. I remember counseling this one man, and he said he used to stay outside in the garage and cry. And then he would go to the nearest gas station. He said one time he was going home and he had to pull over and go to the gas station and go in the restroom and vomit. Because he was that miserable because he didn't want to come home. And they're men, and you think they're
women.
Yep. And there's people they that sick.
Yeah.
They that sick, and they don't want to. That's not of God.
It's a cantankerous atmosphere right there.
Yeah. And you think your kids don't see that
and feel it.
I don't care how old they are. I don't care how young they are. You're doing damage to them psychologically. You are causing them more harm than good. You have been programmed to stay. And your mama said stay.
Yep. Or your daddy said
or your
stay.
Daddy said,
or your brothers and your sisters.
Wait. Well, let's not leave us out. Your pastor told you to stay.
Yes.
Child.
Yes.
Your pastor says stay in that mess. No, I am not a pastor to tell you that you so miserable till you commit suicide, till you beaten up, till you drinking, you smoking every marijuana plant feasible. Try to get are you crazy? If you don't go somewhere and rest in the Lord, get you some help and walk away from that demonic mess. You've got to understand that God is saying that I came to give you life and life more abundantly.
Oh,
and
you know, I just thought about something.
What?
And I didn't mean to interrupt your thought.
No, that's fine.
But I thought about this right here. Sometimes separation is the glue that's going to bring you back together.
Yeah. If he chases.
Listen, because that's what you got to find. You got to find out what you have.
What you got.
Sometimes you got to be willing to separate to see if it's feasible to come back together. But it can be scary because sometimes separation is the key that opens up a gate.
Right.
That somebody else says, I ain't going back.
And some people can like it. Some people
I'm not going back.
But babe, I remember Bishop Jackson, they were married for 30-something years and they never separated.
Right.
But it takes a specific type of understanding, individuals, and to communicate.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yes.
That takes a lot to do that. And we're going to let them come on one of our coupling series. It takes some sort of relationship. It takes a good characteristics to understand that there's a yin and a yang to marriage. And I thank God. I call Fred my what?
Eureka.
He's my eureka. The eureka is something that finally says, this is going to work. That I have the formula for a successful marriage, but I never had the eureka. And so he's finally my eureka. I got it. It's so easy. It's effortless. However, what do you do when you don't have a eureka and you got somebody that want to fight all the time?
But you got to have somebody. She says it all the time. I never really say anything. She says she has the formula for a good marriage, but I have the formula for a good marriage also.
Right.
And you have to have somebody that, first of all, you got to have somebody that loves marriage.
Yep.
Okay? It has to be simple first. You just can't, I'm so in love with the person. Listen, passion sometimes subsides, right? So you got to you can't just be caught up on passion and desire because two grown people come into those places where passion goes up and sometimes it goes down. But when you have a love for marriage, for unity, and for the person, when it's there, you still are happy because you have that formula. All right, but you can't just be a person that's all caught up in passion. You got to be able to know. You got to be able to handle marriage on every level. So we both have the formula for a good marriage, and that is the ability to be able to not stay for the sake of staying, but to be able to work and to understand and to love one another in a way that makes it work.
And it does.
And communicate.
We're going to tell our testimony as to what we came from and where we are now. But you have to understand that a woman asked, and people are FaceTiming me now, and I can't answer to get your question, so hold on.
We're on.
So we get ready to go. So
live.
please understand. A woman said to me yesterday, she said, we've been separated for 5 months. And I said, okay, you've been separated for 5 months, 2,200 people on the sound of my voice. She said, we've been separated for 5 months. And I asked her, did he come pursue you? She said, no, he has not. I said, well, you may as well just go left and you may as well go right and y'all may as well get a divorce. Because a person that loves you is going to work to keep you. He's not going to just program himself. She's not going to program himself. They're going to get help. And they're going to say, how do we make this marriage work and last? How do we become better for each other?
Yeah.
How do I become better for this man? How does he become better for me? But if you separate and they ain't coming to chase you, you may as well just walk away.
Some people are not meant to be married, though, baby.
Some people are not. And some people are trying to put a square peg in a round hole.
Some of you are trying to, you want to be married, and you want to be married for the sake of
marriage or for the sake of sex. But, okay, we could go biblically. It is better for the man to marry than to burn. We could go deeper than that.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
but if you're going to burn anyway, God dog it.
Right. Wait, back in the olden day, they used to say, go ahead and hurry up and get married so you can have sex. That ain't no reason to get married. Have the marriages ain't together, no how. However, you've got to ask yourself, you got to make a list of all of the things that you have loved about each other. And what keeps the marriage exciting? What keeps you guys communicating? How do you communicate? Who is violent? You got to identify who is the one that's going to throw the blows. Who's the one that's going to be honest? Who's the one? What do you have? Fred's phone is right here, just rung. You see how I picked it up and he didn't flinch? You got to ask yourself, what is it that you guys have? What is it that you don't have? Do you guys have trust issues? Can you trust each other? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you guys doing? Are you just programmed because the pastor said to stay married? Are you programmed because mama said to stay married? Are you programmed because the kids say, we don't want you? There are plenty of kids that came from a divorced household and they good.
Yeah. Everybody.
They good. It's pastors that just went up the timeline that they were married for years and they are divorced. And you got to, oh my gosh, I can't believe, because you expect for their marriage to work because they have the answers. Everybody goes through something, but you've got to ask yourself the wonderful question, do you love yourself enough to help save someone else?
Amen.
That means the person that you're married to. And so that's the bottom line. Being programmed to stay. I want you guys, and we're going to ask you.
Honest.
Be honest with yourself.
Be honest.
Why are you in the relationship that you're in? Be honest. Are you happy?
Because you're killing one another.
Yeah.
Honestly, first of all, you're losing time.
You're losing time.
Time you cannot get back.
You can.
You're killing one another, and you're not trusting that. Listen, you're not just coming to a place to say, you know what, this ain't working. Like being honest with yourself.
You're afraid to say it.
This ain't working. You're afraid to go back out into that world. It is fearful. I will tell you, it's fearful. Especially when you love marriage. You know what I mean? But, and like she said, one day I'm going to we'll share our testimony to an extent. But you got to be honest with yourself. If you're just in this, you are the one we're talking about today. You've been programmed to stay.
One woman just went up the timeline, and I'm going to address that before we go.
Go ahead.
She says, I'm in love with him. I love him, but I'm not in love with him.
Oh.
You wrong for that. No, we ain't going to go, but you wrong for that. I think that is so selfish. I love them, but I'm not in love with them. Agape love. You could have, the brotherly love.
Cool.
The brother, I love everybody.
That's that prison love. See, that
call
in
it prison love?
Listen, that's that prison love. That in love, that I
wrong
love
for
them,
that.
but I'm not in love. Let me tell you what you.
You're wrong for that.
You locked into something. I'd rather you just be here with me, and not be with nobody else. But I really don't love you like that.
That's wrong.
Let me go.
That's selfish.
Listen, do me a favor and let me go.
Yeah, that's selfish. My mother, when she was alive, she used to tell us a story about the dog, the cat, the hay. And she said the dog couldn't eat the hay. The cow ate the hay. But the dog would bark, so the cow wouldn't eat the hay. And I'm saying, well, Mommy, why are you telling me that? I'm telling you the story because it's called selfish. It's very selfish that you are not in love with someone, but you'll keep them so someone else won't have them. Did that hurt your feelings? I guarantee you it's going to save your life. You're wrong for that. So you love them, but you're not in love with them. When you're in love with someone, that means that you do whatever it is you have to do to get them to a better place, because I want you to get better. I love this man enough to make sure he has everything that he needs and everything he desires. And he feels the same way about me. Finally, I got it. But you mean to tell me that you love someone, but you're not in love with them enough for them to get what they need so that they get better? So basically, you staying in their way, and you're preventing them from having all that they can have in themselves and other people. That's wrong.
Don't stay for the church.
Don't stay for the church.
Don't stay for the people.
Don't stay for the
Don't
kids.
stay for the family. Don't stay for the kids. Don't do it. Because time will go by. They'll all go their separate ways, live their separate lives. And what I came to is that at some point, them people don't care nothing about you. You the news today, and tomorrow they on somebody else.
Yeah.
Don't stay for people that don't care anyway.
They sure don't.
The children will grow up and they'll respect you more because you were brave enough to give them the truth and to show them what you really should do as an adult.
One more, and then we gotta go.
This is a time.
We gotta pick out cakes and flowers. One young lady said, "What about if I want him to go, but he won't leave?" My question to you is, how is that feasible? I wish we had time to deal with you with that. But if you want someone to go and they won't leave, I have to ask you a question. Why won't they leave? It's ways to have people removed out of your life, whether you're married to them or not. And I wish I had a little bit more detail. The first thing that I'm going to say to you, remember the Jody and Baby Boy, when she got with Snoop Dogg and he came out in incarceration, came to the house and he wouldn't leave? Is it a situation like that? You got to turn off the lights and the water. What is the situation?
Yeah.
But if you're married and he won't go, you've got to ask yourself, instead of speaking to them, counseling helps. Let me help you with something. Counselors help convey messages that they no longer hear and what you're trying to say, because they no longer either respect you, they're familiar with you, or they don't hear you because of the damage. What a counselor does is they take both of your words and they make it very plain for the person's understanding. And it's not a personal attack because they don't know you. They put it in a way and help you understand and say your words without the violence, without being cantankerous, and without the personal attacks. That's why counseling is needed. You could say to a man, look, I think it's time for us to separate. He doesn't hear that. You could say to a woman, it's time for us to divorce. The only thing they hear is, my comfort zone is being shook. The only thing they say is, you don't love me anymore. Counselors help. I'm telling you, especially in the Black community, get help.
And if you're a pastor, I know I'll say this because, I'm a man that have always had mentors. I've spiritual father. I always had somebody that I was able to talk to. But what I found out is when I went to a professional counselor, that it was way different.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'll say this to you leaders. I'll say this as a pastor to pastors, as a man to another man. Don't be threatened by a professional counselor. They can really bring you into some freedoms that and let you see some things that you just didn't see.
Right.
I wasn't ready. I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't ready. But I'm glad I did it, and I'm gonna continue doing it because as a leader, we want to be as healthy as we can for one another. But we want to also, as leaders, we want to be as healthy as we can for the people that we serve.
Right. So what we you kind of got me tongue tied.
I got your tongue tied.
Yeah, because you're so whack and handsome.
Got your tongue tied.
You do. You're so handsome. He gives me butterflies. I just went left with it, right?
You did.
I'm sorry, you were just so fine.
We ain't programmed. We happy.
The goal is to die like this.
The goal is to die happy.
So we just want to say, are you programmed to stay? We're going to give you an assignment today. If you're in a relationship or marriage or any sort, and even if you're no longer with anyone, how come you stayed? Why are you staying? Write it down and get with a counselor and tell them, look, I'm either not happy or this is a problem.
Oh,
What?
I caught something.
What you catch?
If you're in love with, listen, because this is what I just called, baby. You can be in love with somebody and you know you two are in love with one another, but y'all are in a bad place. Put a demand on this moment.
Yeah.
Stop, listen. You say to him or you say to her, we stopping the presses today. We ain't moving forward.
Right. This
gotta be dealt with. We ain't moving. We're not going past go. We finna deal with this. We finna come back to a place because there's some good. And I just really caught that. Some of you you do have a good marriage.
Yeah.
You just came to a stale place.
A standstill. Yeah.
It's a standstill. It's a stale place. But you love one another. Stop the presses.
Yeah.
Stop it. Take the day off and put a demand on that day. We finna get ready to talk about this. We finna bring it down and get with whoever. Do what you got to do, but don't just let it keep going.
And then also, if you're dealing with someone and you want to move forward, and they're violently saying no, they don't. If they get violent in any way, shape, or form,
Woman or
it's
man.
Get out of it. It's not gonna work. I'm telling you, I grew up that way, and I'm telling you, my mother died of a heart attack. I have had situations where it just was not the mind of Christ. You hurt yourself trying to force something to work that God himself have already confirmed. This is not my will. This is your will. God's will is good, it's perfect, and it's acceptable even in your marriage. Are you programmed to stay? And if you are, it is dangerous because someone is going to break and someone is going to lose. 9 times out of 10, it's your children. And I promise you, it will be you. Write down why are you in your relationships and in your marriage. And if it's fear, if it's the kids, if it's finances, if you living in 2 separate locations, if you living in 2 separate bedrooms, if you haven't been intimate with each other.
Yeah.
That's another topic. You guys
that's a special.
Oh gosh, we need a series. Cooper's
non-intimate couples. Do y'all want to hear
Jackson's,
that? Let us see some hearts if you want us to talk about
non-intimate. Ain't no sex. Y'all ain't kissing.
Yeah, non-intimate couples.
Y'all ain't doing none of that. Yeah, we could talk about it with pastors, and we are real people. Y'all in a sexless marriage. Y'all don't kiss. Y'all don't touch. Y'all don't do none of that. Y'all just
exist.
Oh. Oh my gosh. Y'all are in a dangerous way. We're praying for you guys. Y'all deserve to be loved in a healthy way. Y'all deserve to let your children see healthy. Let your children see you run around the house kissing and hugging and smooching. Feel a booty once in a while. She wants you to do. Every now and then you got to reach out and squeeze, get a little squeeze. It's a marriage. Come on, y'all. I love y'all. And so does this man.
Before you go, listen, remember to tell the men, your brothers, especially the young men, Thursday night, 7 p.m.
Right.
And with me, Pastor Fred, God's man on deck. We're going to be talking about some serious issues. I don't stop women from tuning in. You can tune in. Some of you need the information to be able to help the young men that you got. So definitely tune in. Right. Do me a favor when you tune in. And if you come in there late, start a watch party for me. We really want to get the information out. Definitely to deal with black and brown men in this time, in this era.
Ebony Seabrook said something, and she said, God promotes marriage, not divorce. Ebony, I need you to just rest in the Lord, honey, because if you understand the scripture, a lot of people don't understand, and they say things because they lack knowledge. Underneath the Mosaic, so now I got to put on my apostolic hat.
Put it on, baby.
Okay. Underneath the Mosaic law, God gave the bill of divorce specifically for people who have infidelity. Understand, read your scripture, study the Mosaic law. That means that if you are married and your husband steps out and he cheats on you, and vice versa, if you're a wife and you cheat on your husband, under the Mosaic law, you have broken the covenant. Study the Mosaic Law, which means that the bill of divorcement was given for people just like that.
Yeah.
Can you reconcile? You can. Does it always work? Not necessarily. It depends on both of the individuals. God himself does not want you in a marriage where you are cheating, beating, and fighting. So therefore, for her
Or
to
just
say,
dying.
or just dying, for her to say, okay,
God.
God is not counseling and prayer. Faith and work go hand in hand. And you could pray and you could have faith. But if two individuals cheating on each other and you got babies coming in your marriage and you got infidelity and all that stuff, it is not the will of God. So I suggest you close your book, get an understanding, and then come back on
One
this
more
page.
thing.
Bye.
Let's not forget. Let's not forget. He says, whatsoever
I
I
put
have
together."
put together.
That's right.
And a lot of these marriages have not been put together by God. They was put together by a booty call, by interest from somebody,
had babies.
by a baby out of wedlock.
Yeah.
A lot of these marriages,
Yeah.
God did not put together.
That's right. Yeah.
So we got to find out whether God
put
did
you
it.
together. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. We love
Respect
you
the
guys. We respect your opinions. If you want to
said,
stay in
so
your
anyway.
dead marriage and beat the hell out of your husband, so be it. We love you.